burst into intense activity for probably the wrong reasons.
Release our director! We want our freedom!
A small crowd of youths flying.
The United Nations Human Rights Council Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has indicted Nigeria and Kenyan governments over the arrest and extraordinary rendition, torture and continued detention of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, without due process. The UN therefore asked the Nigerian government to immediately release Kanu unconditionally and pay him adequate compensation for the arbitrary violation of his fundamental human rights. While recommending that government officials responsible for the torture of the IPOB leader be investigated and punished, the UN body further directed Nigeria to report back within 6 months of the transmission of its opinions on Kanu.
For Warri, Warri sounds very good. And of course we have Ebogu, we have Chemenye, we have all our brothers here that I can't mention, my sisters. Please, what happened is this. Today we made a no-case submission. The meaning of no-case submission is that the trial or the case or witnesses and evidence presented by the prosecution since this trial commenced in March this year did not rise to the level of Nnamdi Kanu stepping into the dock to enter his defense. We did that in writing, and we also supported it with a verbal presentation today. And the government made a counter presentation as well. Today, unfortunately, happened to be the last day of the sitting of the judge handling this case before he proceeds on vacation for 2 months. So the case has been set down for ruling on the no-case submission for October 10th. If the ruling goes in our favor, Nnamdi Kanu will stand discharged or acquitted. If it doesn't mean he has been convicted, but he will be called upon to enter his own defense. And that is when you are going to see the defense we are going to enter, if at all necessary. We have not entered our defense since the beginning of this case because the procedure has not come to that point. And we pray and hope that it will never do. That on the 10th, the matter will be over. But if perchance it doesn't, we are ready to proceed on the floor upon to do so. Thank you very much.
Okay, today we saw what happened in court, where Justice Omotosho made another ruling that shocked the entire Igbo nation, and this also annoying that we know that he accelerated the hearing. When he started this case, he said this case has taken 10 years, but all of a sudden today, the Biafrans and the Igbo was expecting good news and to hear the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. But what we are hearing now is that the case has been adjourned till 10th of October, and this has caused a lot of panic amongst the Biafrans. They said another 2 months again. This is what Tinubu and the Yorubas, this has been their plan all for a very long time. At the same time, Omotosho has been accused of being a stooge to Wike. They say they called him Wike boy and federal government judge. With what he said, they are going on vacation. What is your take as regards Omotosho saying that he's going on vacation and the case adjourned till October 10?
I think before Omotosho, as we see in the court today, after the ruling, you can see the dignitaries that we are present in that place today. A lot of people flooded from all over the world. Even to an extent outside the court, you see too many crowd and all that. Everywhere was jumped to the extent that they were trying to, make sure that they check the influx of people inside the court. And some people were also asked to stay behind, because of there was so much expectations today. But I can tell you categorically that if you have been monitoring these preceding trials before now, you'll be able to understand the level where they are, and what Ejima called Nnamdi Kanu's personal lawyer was trying to tell the whole world, as we are trying to make it very public to the whole world. It is not something anybody should worry, because we understand very clearly that the federal government themselves are jittery now because of what is already on ground. It's a conflicting signal coming from both sides, especially the one we have from Kenya and the one we are seeing coming from another angle entirely. So the federal government have been very careful now to handle this issue. But I can tell you, let me give you an insight, about the man who said, "I am the one to handle Nnamdi Kanu's case." After all the judges, in Nigeria, refuse to attend to that case, simply because, they cannot be able to give judgment in favor of the federal government as expected. Then he was drafted in, you remember, and let me tell you, he doesn't know who he's talking with. I pray it is not what we are thinking at this point in time. There's no ethnic biasness into this. There's no ethnic coloration into this. There's a Fulani agenda into this. Even though it is, the guy there, Nnamdi Kanu, is not a pushover. I can tell you. And if he senses any form of rubbish coming from Omotosho, he will repeat the same thing he did to Buntayanka. He doesn't care. Nnamdi Kanu is not relenting. He's not afraid of anything. You can see him full of life, exchanging pleasantries, and the more they continue to do this, the more his popularity continues to soar all over the world. And you can see, even from the north, everywhere, people are there. Those who came from abroad, Germany, France, Israel, and others, they were out there in that court today. So there's no how the federal government is going to go contrary to what is already existing as a law, regarding the alleged offense, which it is not correct. The offense they are talking about. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu has been freed from anything that has to do with treasonable charges. They are talking about terrorism now, and they go transmitter, this and that. At the end of the day, they couldn't find anything. Yes, I know that this is Wike's lawyer, boy, or whatever you talk about, you can say about it. But let me tell you one thing, Wike, who claims to be a lawyer, has never for one day stepped into the courtroom to do anything. But because of the controversial judgment, this very James Omotosho passed in Rivers State against Simo Fubara, that tag, he's still following him. So for him to have decided is based on federal government agreement, and I can tell you categorically, there's no how Bola Ahmed Tinubu will agree to this without Wike, being a part of it, because these are the people who are, handling illegality, controversy, who are all manner of criminality associated with the entire judiciary. So maybe he feel that coming to handle Nnamdi Kanu's case is going to play any kind of game. But I can tell you that he is gradually moving from what we understand as the issue that he wanted to do. Yeah, but we are watching closely because like from what happened today, everything has gone to a point that we are expecting final ruling, and by that October, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Anything outside that, then we are calling on the whole world. We are going to see another angle of the 85 million Igbo nations around the world. It's not the world. People are mobilizing all over the world. Anything outside that, then we hold, because we have been having these reservations over the years. We have seen the one that came from Erofai. We have seen the one that came from Baba Ahmed. We have seen a lot of revelations that came from the north concerning what the secret meeting the Yorubas have been having with the Northerners over the years, concerning Igbo. But unfortunately, even when immediately after the war, you saw how they compromised the entire Igbo land, and they say it's outside, it's south this, it's south that, and they begin to do all those manner of things. Not on this one, where everybody is watching. The whole world is seeing it, and gradually it was reported in major BBC carried it, Al Jazeera carried it, Sky News. Where will you mention Nnamdi Kanu now? People will not know what he stood for. Nnamdi Kanu has successfully, that's one thing good about what he. I'm not saying, the criminality. Unfortunately, if they have known, I don't think they would have gone to that extent of rendition or trying to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. But it has brought, Biafra, to the global table. Everybody is discussing what leaders are discussing about Biafra. More than that, including AU and ECOWAS, are also discussing the illegality of Nnamdi Kanu taking the trial in the first place. Because no, what that thing is that he is not supposed to be tried in the first place. Because he cannot try criminality upon criminality. That is it. They don't have, but he decided, based on certain advice by the world leader that, okay, let us see what is going to come out of this. Remember that all the whole judges in Nigeria, nobody agreed to try Nnamdi Kanu. Apart from the one, this very one they brought, just Omotosho, who is a Yoruba man, and we don't want a Yoruba factor into this is a very straightforward thing. Nnamdi Kanu never committed any offense. Nnamdi Kanu never carried the gun. Nnamdi Kanu is not against anybody. What Nnamdi Kanu is seeking for is peaceful disintegration of his people from Nigeria. As simple as that. And it has the international backing, it has the human rights backing, it has the UN backing, it has the EU backing, it has the ECOWAS backing. Nigeria, too, as a nation, is signatory to self-determination. There's no way they can win Nnamdi Kanu. And he keep on saying, you cannot try me. You don't have the jurisdiction to try me anywhere in the court. The fear, clearly now stated, is that what will become the state of Nigeria if Nnamdi Kanu is released? They are already doing their emergency meeting, and a lot of things are already going on. What do we do? Because Nnamdi Kanu has become a deciding factor in anything that has to do with Nigeria and Africa. Nnamdi Kanu is seen as someone whose presence, can change the entire narration and anything that has to do with Nigeria. So there's no how they can run away from reality. Nigeria cannot run away from reality. Tinubu cannot run away from reality. Omotosho cannot run away from reality. You know why? Posterity was always judged. And that is why I'm saying, it is not a bad move anyway, but from what we are gathering, I think October 10 is going to be the final ruling we are expecting. Of course, we saw some.
But we time and time again, them adjoining this case, the Biafrans, they've always, maintained that okay, and this also time they'll get justice, but the justice is not forthcoming.
No.
Not frustrating.
Yes, let me say it very clearly. The government of Nigeria want to do their own thing, their own way. But there's no way how they are going to run away from what the law says about certain charges, about this particular trial. They cannot run away. There's nothing they can do. The only thing they are doing now is to make sure that they constrain Nnamdi Kanu to strength. They add strength to him, but they really know, trying to checkmate him or put him in a particular place. The guy is there, growing strength, growing popularity, growing contact, growing support and solidarity from all over the world. But they have a way of doing their own thing because they are not straightforward people. Nigeria is not straightforward. The judiciary is not straightforward. The politicians themselves are not straightforward. The Igbo leaders are not straightforward. The Igbo governors are not straightforward. And now, when they said the period of Buhari to release Nnamdi Kanu, he told them yes. At the end of the day, he went behind and did another thing. And unfortunately, he's nowhere to be found again. And Nnamdi Kanu is still there. Battling the reality on ground. What is the reality? What we are seeing that is happening in the court is Biafra is in the court. Biafra nation is in the court. And Biafra will defeat Nigeria 100 times. Let me give you an insight. In 1827, the first time in the history of Africa, Biafra signed a treaty with the British government. I think something around June 24, 1827. They signed a treaty. Nigeria have never existed. So Nnamdi Kanu knows what he's talking about. You know what it is. And if you look at him, that guy, I told you, there's nothing like fear. He does, because he is confronting them with the truth. And that's the only thing he has. He has the truth. Evidence. The truth is evidence. And now they are playing. Let us see how Omotosho is going to run away from the truth that face the consequences of over 85 million Igbos around the world.
Okay, but let's look at this issue, this angle. Like, do you not think that okay? So do you not think that they are trying to play, the Tinubu, just like we said, Omotosho, they are trying to play and just trying to weaken Nnamdi Kanu's spirit. At the same time, Do you not think this is political? They are trying to just buy time for 2027.
I don't want to subscribe to what former governor of Anambra State, Igige, is trying to talk about. I don't buy into that. That's absolutely nonsense to me. Of course, if Bola Tinubu knows what to do, you understand. But if that Bola Tinubu have a personal hatred for Igbos, I can say
he said the guy is prerogative of mercy.
Yes, he has a personal hatred, and that hatred is what. It's general. We know where it's coming from. It's not. It's in their DNA to compromise anything and pretend. They claim they are super diplomat. They play super diplomacy. I don't know how they get that kind of thing, and it doesn't work for them. Look at what they have been doing with the Northern over the years, and look at the state of Nigeria. Them and the Northern have managed this country to rubbish. That's what it is. So, if you look at that very well, there's nothing that's stopping the federal government, though they have said that they have withdrawn, they're no longer interested in this case. Yes. But what stops government from writing to the Attorney General of the Federation and saying we are no longer interested in this case and the matter ends? Well, if it means that you want to use that means to actually please the Fulani agenda of please whoever. No, we are following the process. And we know at the end of the day, you are not going to do that. You cannot go because of Nnamdi Kanu and change the constitution of Nigeria and change the international law and change the national law. You cannot.
But we will see Ojus Okalu come out and say that what he has personally met Tinubu. Tinubu is his friend. He said he has met him, but Tinubu said that the matter is in the court, just like what Ngige said. He said he met with Buhari. Buhari is his friend, but I think they are coming with the same format. That he met with Buhari. Buhari said he's already in the judiciary. That let the judiciary do their job. Same thing Ojus Okalu is saying. Do you think that the Southeast governor just blabbing?
No, you see, the Southeast governors are totally they are leaders. Whatever they come, they are leaders of themselves. They're not. The only leader we know is Nnamdi Kanu currently now. Nobody wants to talk about them. If they are mentioning that, they are just trying to protect their own personal and political interests at the end of the day. And there's no sense in what they are saying. They know the reality. Everybody in Nigeria knows the reality. Tell the Attorney General to fuck up with the case and get out with the case. And that's the end of the matter. So, you understand? So, the president has the executive power, to decide on this thing. We are no longer, and once he issues that instruction, that's final. But I'm trying to tell you, that the fight for Fulani agenda in Nigeria is now in the courts. That's what it means, and those who are Fulanized already does not want the whole thing to go smoothly. They still want a process, looking for a way to compromise Nnamdi Kanu's trial, or Nnamdi Kanu himself. But unfortunately, he rejected everything. He rejected the deep fraud, rejected oil blocks and wells and all that. He trashed them to the dustbin. So what else? I can't say it. Yes, we have a lot of respect for when he came. He was sounding like an angel, and we keep on watching him. The Omotosho, yes, he was sounding. He will not allow this and that. He was making all those kind of statements. But now, the guy he is dealing with now knows 100% more than him. I can tell you. Nnamdi Kanu, 100%.
Do you think you will bullshit him? Just like you were.
But let us sense any form of stupidity around this thing. Because normally, let me tell you, Nigeria has no jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu in the first place. This is a matter of international law. They have. So what we are seeing in the court already between Nnamdi Kanu and Nigeria is a total illegality.
Okay, but so how do you think the delegates rather from Kenya and possibly from UN, how do you think they will feel? Come to the court today. Nothing much was done.
Yes.
And the judge just coming and impromptu, adjourning the case.
Yes, the adjourning that the thing has been, before now, they have been coming. Delegates from all over the world have been coming. Kenya, Cameroon, Israel, Namibia, Togo, Ghana, Cameroon, so many of them. We saw the ones that came from US and all that. We saw the one that came from Australia, Canada. Even one of these guys too that came from, if I can remember, one of the Asian countries there, China, and the president was also there. So it's a little task for Nigeria to see how they're going to compromise what the international law have said. One, they don't have right to try Nnamdi Kanu at all. So we want to see how they are going to bring any other further charges. If they want to raise any other charges, then we want to know how they're going to manipulate that. Yes, because it looks as if that is what actually Omotosho is trying to play out.
But the Kenya government, the Kenya court have, they've done their own due diligence, and they admitted that, Kenyatta Uhuru, committed, this kidnap of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. But they know that Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty of what they are charging him for. But how do you think that, just like I said, do you not think that the whole world now, you said the whole world now is watching, do you think that October 10 the Nigeria and Omotosho, the Nigeria court and Omotosho will do the needful?
No, we are expecting the final ruling in October. Yes, and they should also prepare about 5 to 25 billion for compensation for Nnamdi Kanu, just like what the Kenyan court did, Kenyan government did. Okay. It's not a joke. It's not a matter of who. That is really they should go and look for money and keep it, because see, they have touched the tail of a lion. Everyone thought it's not easy. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. Maybe they have waited for a while for Nnamdi Kanu to stood the ground, but unfortunately, the guy stood his ground like an Iroko. He is.
But okay, we saw the northern women, protest, in Aso Rock yesterday, demanding Nnamdi Kanu release, and possibly even the freedom of Biafra. It was so shocking. With what we saw yesterday, they even told Tinubu to avoid another civil war by letting the Igbos go. Do you not think that what they were trying to portray, or what they were trying to do yesterday, do you not think that they are doing the right thing by telling Tinubu to leave Nnamdi Kanu?
No, Nigeria has never been a nation. Nigeria has never been a country. And that's what we must understand. Nigeria transformed from a business enterprise to a multilateral commercial entity for those who feel they are stakeholders. Nigeria has never been a nation. The name Nigeria was a business name. You understand? It has never been a nation. It's just unfortunate that we have leaders who does not think outside the box, who does not want to build the foundation of this country based on nationalism. That's the problem. So how do you think that at the process, everything will just make up a nation that has a destiny? Nigeria has no destiny. So because of that now, then you want to subdue or suppress or compromise an art that empowers self-determination. That will not work. And now, you know that all of a sudden, Nnamdi Kanu has just become a global celebrity now. Because almost everything he talked about, I can see the white people making reference to him. So many activists around the world talking about Nnamdi Kanu. How did he manage to get, some confidential information and put it there in the public? So if you see people, I'm telling you, to be honest, go and mark my word, Biafra is going to have a larger number of nationalities and colonies at the end of the day. There's not to, what we are guessing is I remember the Igbo nation was in the court. Igbo people were in the court today. A lot of people were surprised. So they have come to identify that this man is an unimaginable fanatic of his convictions to liberate the first Jewish black nation under any form of anything that has to do with British influence, Fulani influence, or any other influence. That is the game. Then we cannot talk about how we. I keep on asking ourselves, what is it Nigeria can give to Biafrans that Biafrans cannot offer themselves? What is the essence of this unity? The Igbo have not bothered whether they are president or not. But still, they've survived every calculated anti-social economic attack by this present government and successive government. So the beauty is that they have seen somebody who is a resistance. Once Nnamdi is the resistance. Yes, he's the resistance. And they've seen that the guy, this one, he cannot compromise. So it's for them now to get it very right, because if you get to an extent, Nigeria will be surprised what will happen at the end of the day, that the wrong leaders might decide to invade Nigeria. and the great man Nnamdi Kanu at the end of the day.
The world leader.
Yes.
So a lot of people are already saying this on said, you know, if Nigeria don't want civil war again, that's not just like the world.
No, let me tell you, it's not about civil war. Ask average Nigerian, ask average Nigerian what is his attachment to Nigeria. He will first of all deny Nigeria. Apart from those looters that are not up to 100,000, that are looting this country blind. Look at Wike's Tinubu's daughter buying a house of $3 million US dollars. I mean, he's still a student, he's not working. That is it. What they are interested is to make sure that they destroy the entire Biafra land and pollute it as because of the reckless exploration of crude oil in that place. That's what the North wants. That's what the Yorubas want. You release Igbo, you release Sowore, then what? You understand? So these things are built up to possible disintegration of Nigeria. And that's where everybody is heading to. There's no two ways about it. If you see, yes, because they thought at the time, you know, that Igbos will not have a voice anymore. But unfortunately, they fell in that angle. We have a formidable and a force to reckon with anywhere in the world now, currently now. I can tell